Give it a shot. Welcome to the fourth episode of Two Canucks and a Bottle of Hooch. We've got bro number one from Edmonton. He's wearing the glorious Draisaitl jersey. Looking good in the jersey today, bro. Fantastic. And I'm wearing an old number 27 Daryl Sittler jersey for all of our Ontario subscribers. Thank you, Ontario guys. We know you love your whiskey too. So we thought we spread it around the country. Those of you guys remember, Daryl Sittler played for the Leafs back in the 70s, I think in the 80s. All right. Well, today, Kevin, we've got a very interesting challenge, my friend. We spent some time trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do. We came up with it's an all-Canadian battle. And I know that we've got one of your favorites on the table. And I have not tasted, I shouldn't say, I've tasted only one of the three, so I've not tasted two. But why don't you tell us about what we're tasting today and what we're looking forward to, and maybe what you know about the whiskeys. Take it away.
Take it away. Glad to be here. Yeah, well, I'm gonna correct you on that, big guy, because you have tasted two of these three, but you've only tasted one once, and it was in a blind.
Oh, that's right.
Blind, and it wasn't one of your favorites. Let me tell you that one.
That's right. That we had five on the go, right? And it came in number 4. That's right.
Number 4.
Okay.
But we'll get to that in a second. On the right here, we have the classic Crown Royal, but this is a different one. This is the Northern Harvest Rye. I should say that all of these are rye whiskeys. So they are upwards of, well, two of them are 100%, and this one's 90% rye. So we got Crown Royal, Northern Harvest, 90% rye mash bill. And I've read up a little bit on this. This one we have is the Lot 40. It's the newcomer in the game. Lot 40 is out of Ontario Corby Distillers. And
Ontario.
They also make the Pike Creek, Bob. They make the Pike Creek.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They do. They do. Now you know.
A little bit surprised.
This is 100% rye made in a column still, in a pot still. This is no column still stuff here with this one.
Okay.
And I believe the same is with the Crown Royal. It's a little different. They do things differently than they do the rest of their Crown Royal stuff.
And that's in Manitoba, correct?
What's that?
That's Manitoba.
Manitoba, Gimli. Good old Gimli.
Yeah.
We're not talking the dwarf out of Lord of the Rings. This is Gimli, Manitoba.
Gotcha.
And over on the far left, we have the other classic Canadian whiskey. It's Canadian Club, but it's 100% rye. So in our first challenge, we had Canadian Club and Crown Royal going at it, but they were the base whiskeys. These now are rye whiskeys. So gotcha. This is going to be very interesting. I have had all three before, but I've only had this one as a mixer. I was flavoring the Coke.
I was quite excited to do this blind taste, Kev, because we've really we're fairly new to the whiskey game, as our regular viewers will know, but we've really been enjoying the Canadian whiskeys this past year and a half. And the big surprise for me was how wonderful rye whiskey is. So we've had some beauties, and these are not on the higher end of the scale, though. The beauties that we've had are maybe on the little higher end of the scale. But what are these things running in Alberta, buddy?
Alberta, this one will run you 36. The Crown Royal. This one will run you about 38, maybe $40. The Lot 40, and this comes in at about 35, 34.
So you're standing in your liquor store in the Canadian whiskey section, and you got $40 in your pocket, and that's one of the reasons that we pulled this together too. It's like, I want a rye whiskey. Let's give it a go.
There's $110 worth of whiskey sitting in front of me, and that's with tax included.
Yeah, that'll be gone by the end of the week. I know you. That'll be gone by the end of the week, and you'll be back in the liquor store for another $110.
Well, of course, this is my second batch.
Good. All right. So we've lined up the tasters by color again, haven't we? So we got the lightest on one end and the darkest on the other end. So we're going to do the nose. We're going to do the nose and see which one wins the nose to start. And then we'll go right to the tasting right after that. And hopefully it'll be, yeah, it'll be interesting here today to see who wins. You really like the Lot 40, is that correct?
When I had it, yes, it grew on me as the bottle went down.
Right.
That was my first rye. It was my
Right.
first, when I started getting into the whiskey thing, I got it and it was, let's call it an acquired taste.
Mhm.
But now, as I've gone through in the last few years, I'm stepping up to this thing again, but I haven't had it in over 2 years. So
Okay,
we'll see
great.
where it goes.
Well, it'll be very interesting for me to see if you can actually figure out which one's which as we go through with without the blind taste test. I've got my sealed envelope here, so
I got
we'll be
mine
able
under here.
to figure out which one's which at the very end. But I'm looking forward to this one. So why don't we just start with the lightest and move down to the darkest for just on the nose. See what you think.
Yeah, and it's almost like a light gold honey color for me. What do we got for viscosity here? Not bad. Doesn't have a very heavy leg on it, but it's not bad. Oh, that's really quite nice.
So I'm getting my light one. I'm getting cherry. I'm getting cherry and strawberry right off the hop and some oak.
I'm getting grass. I'm getting grassy notes. I get some oak. Again, my nose is a little screwed up because we just cooked a brisket in the house today.
You and your supper ways.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this in the morning, like at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. So that's nice. That's nice. I like that nose. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't say it's overpowering. I'd say it's on the delicate side. You know, I've had whiskeys a lot more fragrant in many ways, but it's a nice nose.
Just to let the viewers know, in case we have some American viewers who don't really know, the Crown Royal is 45 ABV or 90 proof. The Lot 40 is 43% ABV or 86 proof. And the Canadian Club is a paltry 40% ABV or 80 proof. I don't have any water with me. Oh well. That's the way I like it.
Well,
on to number two.
Number two. We're doing number two. Oh,
this is different.
Big caramel, big vanilla. Boom.
If we're doing the same ones.
I think
hold on here. Just hold on here. Well, I'm going to say we're doing the same ones. I don't have a spectrometer here.
Oh my gosh, that's creme brulee. There's creme brulee. There's big vanilla. God, that smell. That's like dessert. That's like a dessert nose.
No, I'm getting more earthy tones.
You got grass on the first one too, and I got no grass.
I got airy hay. Like I got hay and grass.
Mm-hmm. Could be that jersey. When was the last time you washed that jersey?
I've never washed a jersey. But that's bad luck, man. This is a totally. Oh, this is the first one.
Yep.
Dill pickle or dill pickle chips.
Boom.
Dill pickle chips.
Boom.
On
Totally. The second I went back to it. The second one. Boom. Dill pickle. And that is the classic rye scent, isn't it? The classic.
That's my understanding that you should. Well, in all of the ryes I've had, there's been dill pickle.
And that's kind of disgusting with my cherry and strawberry and dill pickle. That's kind of disgusting. But it's quite nice on the nose. I like it.
You're not pregnant, are you? You know what? I'm getting really hard trying to get something out of number two. But
big
it's
for me.
it's totally different. It's darker. It's almost yeah, no, it's almost like I'm getting almost like this is gonna sound really, really weird. This is like a beef stew.
A beef stew.
Like, yeah. Now the thing is I can stick my nose right in there. Like this is
It's not too alcoholic.
no, that's like a beef stew.
Well, let's go on to the third one and see what we think for the third one. Take a deep breath or two, and
This is my zebra. Oh, I got more. I got more dill pickle chips. Oh, what the hell is that one? Maybe a little nail polish.
I've got honey on this one. I got honey notes, and I've got caramel, vanilla oak.
Oh, dill pickle. Yeah, dill pickle chips. Like this is screaming dill pickle chips.
I didn't get that on the last two we did. Just that first one. I went back to the first one. Let me go back to the second one here. Well, I mean, I'm going to say I'm pretty impressed. All three, I was tasting a dram last night, and a comparative taste test, and I didn't like one of the noses of the two that I was testing. Was not it was not a good nose
Right.
at all. And but these are all quite delightful, very different.
Yeah, especially number two. Like number two does not smell like a rye to me.
It's very sweet. It comes on big sweet, like it's dessert for me. Number two, I would say for me the third one has got the least nose on it. It's much more subtle than the first one, which I thought was quite delicate. I would call it delicate, and the second one is got much more complexity to me, in my estimation. So if I'm gonna rank them, even though they're all okay, like they're all good, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say the third one, which is the darkest one for me, is number three. The middle one, which we tasted, which is number two, is the winner for me, because it's complex. And then the very first one we taste would be number two. So if I had to go with nose alone, I'd say just the middle one.
Oh,
But I'm not sure how you feel about it.
for me right now. The nose is a toss up between 2 and 3.
Oh, three, eh? Okay, interesting.
Like I say, there's not a bad one in the bunch for a nose. But if I had to pick a winner, I'd probably pick number 3.
Oh wow, interesting. I'm gonna go back to number three and just.
It just maybe what's throwing me off is that there's no dill pickle in number 2. And not that I'm a huge fan of dill pickle, or I love dill pickle chips.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it that's not engaging. Like
Yeah. No, it's quite interesting how the mind works, because now that I've picked number two definitively, right? So I've seen the color and the viscosity, and now I've done the nosing. For me, the one that I'd want to buy would be number two, the one that I won the nose for me, right. And I would say for whatever reason, even though I think number three, now that's interesting because number three for me lost, but I would want to buy that second for some reason, and I think it has to do with the colors. Number one's quite light, right?
Right.
So, and number three is the darkest one. So, I don't know, just kind of going by. If I was just to look at these now and smell them, I think I'll buy number two. I'll buy number three. Number one, even though it came second in the nose. So the color is actually I think it's the color. It's kind of
Yeah.
impacting my paradigm about what I'm liking already. And it also kind of looks watery to me, number one. The lighter
Yeah,
one.
I'm learning to get past that.
Yeah.
In the color.
Mhm.
There's a good chance all of these have coloring in them. Just the
Yeah.
way a lot of Canadian whiskeys are, especially your old standards like these guys,
Mhm.
and even probably the Lot 40. Just they add coloring to make their all of their batches the same, right? Now, technically, from what everything I've read and listened to, it's not supposed to affect your taste,
Mhm.
but it's all up here. As soon as you know there's coloring in there,
Mhm.
or assume, people tend to back off and will take something that's not colored, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you spoiled it for me for sure. Thanks a lot. I really
Okay, hey,
appreciate that.
not a problem. So brothers are for.
Want to give it
Yeah, you know what? I'd have to go on nose. If somebody said buy one of them right now, it'd be number 3.
number
It's
three?
just a dill pickle jumps out. I'd buy number 1 second.
You like that, eh? Okay, good. Okay, there you go. Let's see how let's do a taste. Let's do a taste starting with the lightest to the darkest and see if our taste matches our nose here.
Sounds good.
Oh boy, the spice, eh?
Oh,
Big rye
that's
spice.
got pepper on it.
Oh, it's all the way down the sides of the tongue. It's just like someone's got the pepper mill right on the tongue and they're just grinding it.
I can feel it on the sides,
Yeah.
but I get a sweetness. I get a sweetness on there too.
Hmm.
It's almost like a sweet heat, right?
Hmm.
But it's not a long finish. Like it's I'm getting it still on the sides of my tongue. Oh, what's that taste? There's a little bit of
Burlap. It's something earthy. It's something kind of very earthy for me. It's like
that, almost like an apple.
you got boy, oh boy. I'm saying burlap and you're saying apple.
No, 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 no. Sorry.
It's a,
That's orange peel.
oh, maybe, yeah, that bitter. It's bitter. It's bitter, isn't
No,
it?
yeah, it's not. But to me, it's not bitter. It's just got that. Not that I like biting into orange peels, but it's got that, and it's only on the finish. I don't get it coating around as I'm swirling around my mouth.
Mhm.
Almost everything for me is on the finish, but that's tasty. That is really tasty.
Really, eh?
I like that one.
Mm.
Mm. Number 2.
Okay. Mm. Oh yeah, that's like honey and almonds. I get some almond or some nut or something like that, and some big oak, big oak on that one. Oak on the first one too, but there's big oak on this one too.
I got no wood in the first one, no oak on the first one.
Nothing.
I get a little bit on this, but I got sweetness. I got like a really light honey, nothing really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Almost like a syrup.
Very
Not
good.
maple syrup.
Very good mouthfeel. What about, see, the first
Yes.
one for me was a little on the thin side. I would even call it almost a little bit astringenty for me.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
second one has got a nice rich mouthfeel compared to the first one.
Mm. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I get
Pretty
on
complex.
both of these. Oh, first of all, on all 3 on the nose, you have very little alcohol, very
Yeah.
little acetone. On the taste for the first 2, virtually no alcohol.
Right.
This one was hotter, So I think this is the higher AB. This has got a higher ABV than this one, but I'm not sure what they are yet.
Yeah, I literally don't have a clue. So
I have an inkling. I know what this one is, but that's neither here nor there. I think I was wrong our very first episode, so I will shut up. Number 3.
all right, just gonna wash that out.
Oh, that is Rye Bread. The nose Rye Bread, sourdough, and dill pickle.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. That's got some heat to it too.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the rye flavors, right? Because I was drinking bourbon last night,
Yeah,
and this is such a departure from the bourbons, right? The corn, the rye versus the corn,
right.
and it's fascinating stuff how different they are. Um,
What would be interesting to try down the road would be to find 100% or a 90% American rye
mhm.
and put it against one of these, or put it against the winner.
Yeah, for sure. I know
Now,
there's a lot of ryes out there, American ryes out there. Sorry, I shouldn't say a lot. There's some of them that I know about. Some of them are quite expensive though, that I've seen. I haven't seen any ones in the $40 range, so I'm not sure
yeah,
where we get those. Interesting purchases for sure.
well, yeah, the majority of your American ryes, excuse me, is they're barely legal, right?
Right.
They're like 51%. Although the Jack Daniel's rye,
Mhm,
70% rye.
mhm.
Be something to try, and it's not all that expensive. Just another fun fact: when I was doing some research on some of them, the Crown Royal is winter rye. Now, I don't know if all Canadian ryes are winter ryes, but I do know that they do mention that the Northern Harvest is a winter rye, as opposed to other types of rye that are out there, like baking rye.
Mhm,
Which is basically your summer rye type of thing. If
mhm.
I understood that correctly. So that might in part have something, give it a different taste. I don't know what they didn't mention it, but there's something out there. Some more facts to clog up your brain cells.
So do you have a favorite that kind of pops out at you, buddy, or one that you wouldn't buy, or one that you would not purchase? Like I don't get this last one right here has got a little bit of cinnamon on it. It's got like some kind of nutmeg and cinnamon that I'm getting on a little bit of that. The middle one for me is just all dessert still. This nose was dessert, and the sweetness of the
Taste is
honeys, the
dessert.
caramels come booming out of that. Really, really big and nice. So if you like sweeter your sweeter ones, the number 2 for me is
Yeah.
like a big winner, and I may end up choosing this one because of that, and also the complexity. Like I just love this seems a little bit more complex. Number 1, which you quite like, that really spicy. Oh my God, that spice! That's big spice. Which is the highest ABV?
Crown Royal is 45.
So that's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing the lightest one there is Crown Royal Harvest. That's what I'm going to guess, simply because of
I would agree with you on that one.
the giant spice.
I think I know which one is what all 3 are.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, so what's your guess? Because I think you drank a whole bottle a lot, 40. I only had one little sip. So
Well, that was like 2 years ago. I think the latest one on the right is the Crown Royal Northern Harvest.
yeah.
I think the middle one, which is our second lightest one,
Mm-hmm.
is the Canadian Club at 40%. Because
Serious.
it's just smooth and light. Like I get no tingling on the tongue at all when I drink
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And I think this is the left-hand one is the Lot 40.
Interesting.
Now, if somebody said to me, which would you prefer? This is what it all comes down to. You have to sit with a dram of this and drink it tonight.
Well, hold it. Make it even more important.
One of these.
Make it
one
more
of these.
important. Make it more real. If you had $40 in your pocket, which one are you gonna buy?
Well, I did buy it.
Which one?
If I had to buy one, man, that's a tough choice. But I think just for the nose, and I think it's a little more complex, is the Lot 40, if this is in fact the Lot 40.
Well, you're gonna find out. So, but which one are you gonna buy?
I certainly am.
Luckily, you actually get to drink it, not just put the nose in it. So, which one are you gonna buy? Is it gonna
Lot
be
40.
number? So the
I would
dark.
I would buy this one. Put it this way. This is my zebra. I would buy the zebra.
And I would do this one. I would do what I have as the number one here. This is it's a big winner for me for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. It's the one that's got the big dessert nose and it's a big sweet. It's got the sweeter tones for me.
But it's a spicier one, right?
No, the spicier one is the Harvest. Number two here? It's called number two.
Okay, so you're going for number. You say you would buy number two, the middle one.
Yeah, that's right. The middle one. The middle one. It's my number one here, but it's the middle one for the one the way we've laid it out. So,
okay.
So let's go. So I think you've done a good job guessing. I'm going to guess. So let's go with your guesses. Do you have your envelopes?
I certainly do. So here's the thing. So we did the lightest color on the right. We did the second lightest color in the middle, and we did the darkest on the left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm picking the darkest as my favorite, regardless of what it is.
Right.
I'm picking the darkest as my favorite. You're picking the middle one as your favorite. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
But just to be clear for the viewers is, even though Kevin and I have set this up because we're judging which is darkest and which is lightest by eyes, right? And we both have poor eyesight, so we may be wrong. Like we might be actually we might have mixed 2 and 3 up, right? So in other words, your last one, which you love, could in fact be mine that I love. But you're going to find out in a minute because you've got your actual answers here. So
I'll let you go first, bro.
So I guess that the lightest was in fact Harvest, right?
Green, right?
And this is the one for me that had a pretty good nose with lots of dill pickle, but was quite very, very spicy. And I guess that it was Harvest. And in fact, it's my number 2, and it is Harvest. So congratulations to Bob. And that would be the last one that I would buy. So I like the middle one and the darkest one as number 3. And I love the middle one right here, which is my number 1, which is the middle one that we guessed. And that is in fact Lot 40. So it was a good winner for me. There was no doubt. The nose, I think I went over and over it. I love the nose. I love the mouthfeel. Lot 40 was just like a total win for me. And I'm pleasantly surprised because I was going to be shocked, in fact, if it was Canadian Club that came in second. But I am a bit shocked that Canadian Club was the second one that I would buy, which is the darkest is number 3 here. That's Canadian Club, and I quite like it. And again, I'm just a little shocked here. This happened before when we did the very first 2 Canucks and a bottle of hooch. Canadian Club crushed Crown Royal, and I'd have to say that Canadian Club and the Lot 40 have crushed Crown Royal once again by my judgment. But go ahead, you do your reveal.
So here we go. I have a giraffe, I have a rhinoceros, and I got my zebra. What's what? This is my favorite. Zebra's my favorite.
Okay.
What is zebra?
What is
Zebra is Lot 40 rye whiskey, 100%.
Oh, whoa, interesting.
My second choice was Giraffe.
Right.
Giraffe is Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Canadian Club comes in last place.
So we just reversed the two Canadian Club and Crown Royals, but we both thought that Lot 40 was the winner heads up. So I think that when we were actually setting it up, that we got the darkness things mixed up a bit. So
That's fine.
yeah, that's fine. At the end of the day, it's what you like, right? The nose.
Exactly.
Well,
The mantra goes, the best whiskey you like is the whiskey you like the way you like to drink it.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, this is this.
That lot 40, which I have not ever bought a bottle. I'm now going to put that in my Canadian collection and start comparing it, because it's got, for me, it's got big strawberry, big cherries, honey, a little brown sugar, maybe some cinnamon. So you can see it's on the sweeter side for me for sure. And it's got a very nice, smooth finish on it. It's just, it doesn't have that massive amounts of pepper on the tongue that the Harvest does for sure.
Right. Well, that's the 45% too. This is 43, the lot 40, and the Crown is 40%.
Yeah.
And I just picked that right away. I just had a sip of this again, and this goes down like water. The Canadian Club goes down like water, right? Yeah. But yet it's still pleasing to drink. So
what you were saying to me, there's something wrong with the water up in Alberta, is what you're saying, that this goes down like water. Is this like
exactly. But it's really nice, but I'm not getting any fruit notes on the nose. I'm getting honey and sweetness, like a sugar sweetness on the tongue, on the palate, but I'm getting none of that on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm getting like,
for me, it was the weakest nose. It was like it's got a weak nose compared to the other one.
I agree.
Which kind of took away from it, but I love the color on it, colored or not. And you're right, it's quite complex and it's subtly complex. So here's to CC. Congratulations, CC. It's again another bit of a surprise for me. There's no harm being in second place, unless you really want it to win, of course.
Well, the thing is, full disclosure, I had a dram of the Lot 40 when I was at Mom's place last week. And I did it, but it was
the Harvest. You mean the Harvest? You're talking about
the Harvest. Sorry, the Crown Royal Harvest, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a wonderful drink.
What surprises me, bro, is for me for this to come in third, that there was a guy. This made world news 2 or 3 years ago, that the CR Harvest, Northern Harvest, actually won the best whiskey in the world, right?
And according to Jim Murray, yes.
That's right. And bully for Crown Royal, because the product was flying off the shelves because of that. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking, we haven't tasted every whiskey in the world, and we're just new to this kind of this sport. But it's probably not the best whiskey in the world.
No. I would agree with you there. I mean, having said that, and this is where I have a problem with people naming the best of something, right? Because I don't think you can name this the best whiskey in the world when bourbons are whiskeys, Japanese are whiskeys, Indian, there's Scotch, there's Irish, there's Canadian, there's Australian, and they're all different, right? So to say that this is the best whiskey in the world, yeah, it's a pretty big jump. But I think it's a very good whiskey. And as far as this is concerned,
especially for the price. Yeah.
Especially for the price. But of the two whiskeys I've had from Crown Royal, which is the Deluxe, which came in last or whatever in the first episode, this is by far tastier. Because not only is it a rye, which is different from their normal stuff, but it's also a higher ABV, right?
Yeah.
And it's in my range for ABVs. but it's a higher ABV. And I'm finding that if you get into the 43s and 45s, your tastes go up. Like it's you get more out of it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to go up too high because then I feel I might lose affinity for the lower ABVs, right?
And I would also say to our viewers that we both know that when you do a neck pour, it's different, and over time, what happens is you kind of warm up to the whiskey. So halfway down the bottle of our harvest, we may be singing a different tune. And for as an example, I just took another sip of it right now, and actually quite enjoyed this sip compared to the first 3 or 4 or 5 sips that I had. So it's like already I'm already maybe changing my perspective. So any day of the week, you never know how this would rank, right? We did it again, maybe.
I'll give you a little bit of an example too. There's a guy over in Scotland that does recycled reviews, and every 15 bottles he goes out and gives a little score. But he just tells everybody how he engaged with it. He has a spreadsheet of all the whiskeys that he's tried and reviewed on his channel as a recycled review. But he says, and there's another column that he's added, which is basically a revised score after he's had a chance to engage with it more and have another bottle. And he goes back and goes, no, you gave it an 8, but now I'm giving it a 9, right? I mean, as you go through these things, we get down in the bottles. I really think we should do this one again as we get down midway to the bottles, right? And it should be like that for a lot of your whiskeys, because the more air you get in, it just seems to open up. It's like that with Scotch whiskeys. It's got to be like that with Canadian whiskeys too, right? So.
The other thing that I would say is that one of the fascinating journey that we've been on with the whiskeys is we've really grown to appreciate Canadian whiskeys. And here's two classics with your CC and your CR, and then Lot 40, the newcomer on the block, winning this championship in my estimation today, hands down. But a hell of a Canadian challenge. It reminds me of the NHL season coming up. We're going to have an all Canadian division, and they'll be battling it out. But the distilleries across Canada keep getting better and better, and the product keeps getting better and better. And I'd be proud to actually serve any of these up and say, try a Canadian whiskey, my friend. Just give it a go.
Right. I agree. When I was buying these, I was in the store, and I'm noticing really how cheap, from a Canadian point of view, how cheap some of these actually are, and how many different styles of Crown Royal there are. Right? There's an XO, there's an XR, there's a blah, 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 right? But a lot of them are actually quite affordable.
Yeah.
And one would say, why wouldn't you want to try them?
Right? Especially for $40. What are the age statements, Kev, on these, and they're all oaked, right? Is there any bourbon or wine or beer casks involved in any of these? Do you know?
No, as far as I know, they're all oak casks. They might have bourbon. To be honest with you, I don't know anything much about the Canadian Club. They're very uninformative on their website.
Yeah.
The same with Crown Royal.
Yeah.
I will tell you about a website I found. It's called CanadianWhiskey.org.
Yeah. And
it's by a guy named Davin de Kergamo, and he's probably the preeminent writer of Canadian whiskey. Go into his website, that's CanadianWhiskey.org, and go through his reviews and tastings. And he describes, there's probably 6 or 7 sheets or pages of reviews, and it's all Canadian whiskey, and it's just wonderful stuff. But as far as the barrels are concerned, I think some of them are a mixture of ex-bourbon. I don't know if any sherry's involved. So right. There's, again, Canadian whiskey is really weird in that respect.
Yeah, it doesn't really, and we don't know how old they are, how many barrels they've come out of, or what kind of casks most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably get better at that over the years, I would think, but maybe not. You never know. But Kev, I'm off to. I don't have to go off to buy a bottle of Lot 40 because we bought one for this, so I'm going to enjoy this for sure. It's going to go on my premier shelf for sure. I will not put the Crown Royal on the shelf, and I will not put the CC on the shelf. But so lot 40 is the winner for this for me. Here's to you, brother. Thanks so much. Thanks.
To you. Cheers.
Cheers. The last word goes to you.
Last word.
Those are 2 words. That was 2 words.
Those are 2 words. You know what? I enjoyed this, Bob. This was fantastic. Hopefully we can get together again soon and do another one. It's just, I'm finding the challenge in all of this is to find whiskeys that are affordable that we might want to review.
Right.
And I guess what's hesitant for me is that I look at a lot of Canadian whiskeys and I'm looking at some of the prices and I'm going, do I want to spend that in case I don't like it? I was relatively confident in these 2 that I would like both the CR and the lot 40. Mm-hmm. The Canadian Club was the outlier for me. Yeah. And having said that, I have no problem pouring a dram of this and drinking it.
Surprise, surprise. Fact, yeah.
I would pour this before I pour the Crown Royal or the Canadian Club 12-year-old whiskey.
Well, you know, that's a really interesting. Let's do that. Let's do the Canadian Club Rye versus the Canadian Club 12-year-old. If you got, that's a champion. That's a champion material thing.
Right.
Right.
But I sent you a bunch of pictures of at a liquor store here in Edmonton of the whiskeys that are available in Canada, like for Canadian whiskeys. Prices are kind of up there sometimes, right? But I think we'd say